So sometimes you're not going to be able to use the calculator to get the logarithmic model. And example 4 is one of those cases. And so the way I can spot it is if in your model you have this t plus 1, you're not going to be able to use the calculator because the calculator model ends up being a plus b natural log of x or t or whatever, like we had in the other examples. And so I know for sure I'm not going to be able to use it. If also it wasn't natural log, if it was a different type of log, then we wouldn't be able to use the calculator either. And so on this example, it says that in May of 2011, when t is equal to 0, 65% of U.S. adults did not own a smartphone. In November of 2016, when t is 5.5, only 23% of adults did not own a smartphone. And so that the percent of adults that do not own a smartphone can be modeled by this function S, where S is the percent of adults in the U.S. that do not own a smartphone t years since May of 2011. And so this A part 1 question wants us to use the given data to write two equations that can be used to solve for those constants. And so the 65% is going to be the S of t. Now A and B have to be our variables. And then this t equals 0 is going to be our t. Okay, and then same thing for the other situation. The 23 is going to be the S of t. And then 5.5 is going to be the t. Right. Now there is no need on that part to go ahead and add 0 and 1 or 5.5 and 1. Like I personally would just stop right there and don't change anything else. You obviously can, but you get that point for leaving it unsimplified. Right, and then for part 2, we're going to find the values of A and B. So this is where we can't use the graphing calculator features or the statistic features, the regression features in the calculator. But we can do this by hand. So here I would go ahead and add the 1 and the 0. And then on the other equation, you would need to add 5.5 and 1. All right. And then the natural log of 1, we hopefully know in our heads. If you don't, you can type it into the calculator. But the natural log of 1 is always going to be 0 because it's like e to what power gives you 1. That power is the 0 power. And then b times 0 obviously is 0. So we can say that A is going to be 65. Right? And then to find B, I'm going to take the other equation. In the place of A, I'm going to put the 65. All right, then I'll go ahead and subtract the 65. All right, and then you can find the natural log of 6.5 in the calculator. Now I did go ahead and I wrote that decimal to several places. I am fine with you only writing it to 3 or whatever, but whenever you go to actually do the division, please use the whole number, the entire number, not the whole number, the entire number, just so you're accurate to 3 decimal places. So that is how you find A and B by hand. And you don't necessarily have to have a situation where this is 0. This will definitely be a calculator question, and you'll be able to type in the natural log of whatever, or log base 2 of whatever, to be able to find A and then plug that back in and find B.